Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you're viewing this at. This is Pip Stellick, and if you've had a chance to watch any of my blooper reels, I've literally been going through this time and time again. And so I think right now it looks like it might be working finally, which it's been a bit of a challenge to get there, but it looks like we're there now, and you can see my visualizer, I think. So first of all, I want to say that first of all, I got to thank my wife because she's been going through this with me, and we're both pulling our hair out, making sure that we do this correctly. So anybody that's watching it live, I thank you. I totally appreciate that. And if you understand what I'm going to be doing, I sent out a quick video last night. It wasn't very long. This is going to be a little different than what I've done in the past. And I'm going to be doing some 10 to 20 minute lease option trainings. And we're going to go through video 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to do about 20 or 30 of these. I haven't exactly planned out where each one's going to go and where it's going to lead. But first week of January, we're going to be doing some cool stuff with some lease option trainings. But I want to get some information out to everybody. Now, some of you guys that are going to see this have been doing lease options for quite a while. We'll be going over some things with lease options that you may or may not already know. For people that have never seen me teach or do anything like this, it's going to be a little bit different because you've never seen the whole process before. A lot of you guys that have watched the Facebook Lives that I've done, it's obviously been a lot of different information based on sales. This one's going to be all based on just lease option. And we're going to do these about every day. As long as the technology allows me, we're going to be doing this about every day for the next 20 to 30 days. Pay attention towards the middle to end of December. We're going to have some new announcements coming out. First week of January, we got some new stuff coming out as well. And so a lot of questions coming back to Pip. Why should I learn about lease options from you? Completely understand that. I've had the opportunity. I started investing back in 2002. And in 2005, I got asked to mentor other students. In 2007, I got asked to teach people in groups all across the United States and then all across the world. Currently, I've taught this in 18 different countries to probably over 40,000 students in that time frame. Mentored just hundreds of students one-on-one since then. Probably actually more like thousands of students one-on-one because I get all kinds of questions and stuff. The one thing I'm going to ask you guys is, first of all, I'm not going to be doing anything in the chat box. I know if you watch some of my last Facebook Live stuff, I was going back and forth on the chat box. But please do me a favor, whether you're watching it live or you're going to watch it later, put comments in the chat box. It lets me know what you guys are hearing, what you're thinking, that kind of stuff. What I also want you guys to do is, if you have questions, message me on Messenger, and I'll make sure I get those questions answered. We'll definitely be going through a lot of different stuff through this. I do want to just tell you that I am going to kind of go step by step, so it might be a little bit elementary to some of you guys. And so I'm going to do my best to go through this lease option stuff. So once again, what is a lease option? What is lease option? Now, you're going to hear me say different things, and my terminology may be different than other people. Like I said, I've talked about this all around the world. And one of the things I've noticed is Canadians say things different than Americans, and Aussies say things different than Canadians, and right on down the line. Even though we all speak English, we tend to use different terminology. For the purpose of our trainings, and if you're going to go back and watch these, there'll be video 1, 2, 3, 4, right on down the line. If you go back and watch these, what you're going to find out is that I am going to go step by step, and I'm going to use terminology. And so today, what I really want to do is talk a little bit about some of the different terminology you're going to hear, and I'll try to make notes as we go through this. And I will save all these as well, so we have all the documentation of it. So what you're going to see is lease option, in my opinion, is the same as rent to own, which a lot of my students base it down to RTO. So they really break it down into small increments. And so when we talk about rent to own, when we talk about lease option, we're talking about somebody who is leasing a property from somebody with the option to buy it in the future, renting the property with the option to own it in the future. And so lease option and rent to own for me mean exactly the same thing. So lease with an option, rent to own the property. And so what happens is there's a predetermined person in that property. They are renting it or leasing it. We'll interchange those terms. and they have the option to own it or to buy it in the future. And so that is truly what a rent to own, a lease option is. Now, as we go through this, what I want to make sure we understand is you're going to hear a lot of negativity in the world, the real world, about lease option. For those of you guys that are on the in the chat box right now, you can probably agree with me already that there's been many people in your life that if you talk to them about lease option, they're going to tell you you're crazy. You can't do that. And I hear that no matter where I go. Like I said, I've taught this all over the world. And I think I see a couple of Canadian students on there. I see a person from Wichita, Kansas. So somebody very close to me. I live in Kansas City area. So Michelle's very close to where I'm at. And yes, we'll be able to use these videos for training, even though I'm shouting out people's names and things like that, because you will see them in the chat box. And I know Allison does rent to own. I know, Wendy, you do rent to own. And the thing about this is when you go out and you talk to the general public, and when you talk to realtors, many times they will tell you that you can't do lease options. And they'll say lease options are bad. When you talk to mortgage brokers, and if I spell something wrong on here, guess what? I'm real, I'm human, I will make mistakes. I hear when you talk to mortgage brokers, a lot of times they look at lease options and they say, oh, I had a bad experience with lease options. I don't want to do those anymore. Every time you go out in the real world and you find somebody that is telling you negative things about lease options, you should be smiling so big you could eat a banana sideways. That's how big you should be smiling, because if every realtor and every mortgage broker knew how to do lease options, guess what? There wouldn't be any of those for us to go around. The nice part about lease options, they work in an up market, they work in a down market, and they work in a sideways market. So it doesn't matter what the market conditions are, lease options will work. What doesn't matter what the market conditions are, there's going to be a need for lease option. So I'm probably going to say this multiple times through this training series. If I walked up to anybody who was a realtor or a mortgage broker, so any of my realtors or mortgage brokers that watch this now or in the future, if I asked you this very simple question, and I want you guys to pay close attention, I'm going to say it multiple times so you can remember it. Take notes, whatever you need to do if you're watching this after the fact, is if you ask any mortgage broker or realtor right now a very basic question, and the question you ask them is very simple. Mr. or Miss Realtor, Mr. or Miss Mortgage Broker, do you ever have a client that wants to buy a property that can't quite qualify? I will say that again. Mr. or Miss Mortgage Broker, Mr. or Miss Realtor, do you ever have a client that wants to buy a property that can't quite qualify? I guarantee 99.9% of the mortgage brokers and 99.9% of the realtors, if they are actively working, they will have people that can't quite qualify. I know some of you guys are saying, well, Pip, why didn't you say 100% of the time? I don't like to use the word always and never, because what I found out at the age of 52 now in my life, that there's very seldom an always and a never. If you're a parent, you hear those words a lot from your kids. I got 2 daughters, and they like to say, Dad, you never do this. Dad, you always say that. And what I've realized as a parent, always and never very seldom happen, if ever. But I'm not going to get into those kinds of discussions. What I'm going to say to you is if a realtor or mortgage broker is doing the business and they're active, they always have people who can't quite qualify. They always have people who can't quite qualify. Like I said, I've taught this all around the world, and I can only remember one time a mortgage broker, a realtor. I was in Los Angeles teaching this class right by LAX. She'd been a realtor for a number of years. I'm going to say 23, 25 years. She'd been a realtor a long time. I'm not going to say her name, even though I remember her. I said to her, do you ever have a client that wants to buy a property that can't quite qualify? And she said, no. And I said, really? She said, Pip, all of my clients are cash buyers from China. It's exactly what she said. I'm not being racist. I'm just telling you exactly what she said. She said all of her clients were foreign buyers buying cash. So they didn't even have to qualify. They didn't even have to qualify. So her business was not made up of anybody that was in this situation. However, if I talk to most anybody who's a realtor or mortgage broker in any city that I've gone to around the world, and I ask them that very simple question, do you ever have a client that can't quite qualify to buy a property? They most generally always say yes. That is exactly what we're looking for. We're looking for non-qualifiers. People who can't get a mortgage right now. I'm going to try to not abbreviate so that you can go back and see this. People who can't quite qualify for a mortgage. That is so important. Because if I sat down with a realtor or a mortgage broker and I said, I want to do some business with you. We're going to talk about how to talk to realtors, how to talk to mortgage brokers through this series. We're going to talk about how all the details of this works. I'm going to try to break it down into 10 to 20 minute segments though, so they aren't going to be very long. The reason I'm doing that is what I found out is that we have very short attention spans as people today, very short attention spans. And what I want to make sure you guys understand is I don't want to work with the people that can qualify, because there's no reason for a mortgage broker or a realtor, if they've already got a client that can qualify, to work with me. What I want to do is I want to work with the people who can't qualify, the non-qualifiers, people who can't get qualified for a mortgage. That is my sweet spot when it comes to lease options. They can work with all the people that do qualify. I want to work with the people who can't qualify. So think about this for just a minute. There is an untapped market. People always say, well, Pip, I don't know what's the new thing that I need. I got somebody saying, I thought RTO is illegal. You will hear that as well. I will definitely comment about that. And so the funny thing about it is you will always, and this isn't always, you will always see that there's going to be negative people out there. Whenever I would do a class, I would always say, negative people. There's negative people. You're going to have fun. You're going to encounter negative people all over the world. Once again, I'm going to say it. I said it earlier. I'm going to say it again. That should be a great thing. If your mortgage broker tells you it's illegal, if a realtor tells you what you want to do is illegal when it comes to lease option, you should smile as big as you can, because guess what that realtor and mortgage broker is doing? They're eliminating your competitors, because to the uneducated investor, what's happening is they're hearing this from realtors and mortgage brokers who are in the business, and they're telling you things are illegal. So what's the average person do? As soon as you hear it's illegal, your butt cheeks squeeze together and you walk out of the office going, I guess I can't do lease option now. But as an educated investor, what you're realizing is you can do lease options. They're legal in every state. I know I'm going to get people from Texas on here go, oh, you can't do lease options in Texas. You have to do some things different in Texas. Guarantee it. You have to do some different things in different provinces across Canada as well. Certain variations based on state and province, but I guarantee you without fail, lease options are legal in every state. One of the rules we're going to have to talk about is you have to be legal. You got to do it the right way every time. So when we start to look at this, we're going to start to see that there's always going to be people, and I know I don't like to use always and never, that can't quite qualify. Not every realtor, not every mortgage broker is going to find them for you, but most realtors will tell you, I don't think you can do this. I don't know that works. I've had a bad experience with it. We're going to show you how to do this business professionally, legally, and with integrity. I've been doing this for 18 years all around the world, and we've got client after client after client that will sing testimonials or put out testimonials and sing praises of the lease option process. We're going to show you a whole different way to do it. We're going to show you how to do it without your own money, without your own credit. For those of you guys that think you know some stuff and say, oh, you're going to do sandwich lease options. No. We can talk about sandwich lease options, but we're going to do purchase lease options. For those of you guys that don't know what I'm talking about, these are going to be in future videos. We're going to purchase the property using other people's money and other people's credit, using joint ventureships, and then putting tenant buyers in there to buy the property. So the cool part about it, for the mortgage broker and the realtor, they're going to get paid. I guarantee you one of the main reasons mortgage brokers and realtors get a little bit, what's the word I want to use, a little bit jittery with lease options, is because they don't know if they're going to get paid or when they're going to get paid. If I can show a realtor that they're going to get paid immediately, if I can show a realtor they're going to get paid immediately, guess what? As soon as a property closes, just like any other purchase of a property, they're going to be going, I've got some people that can't quite qualify. I got people that can't quite qualify. Now, I know some of you guys are already thinking in the back of your minds, well, what if I don't have the money? What if I don't have the credit? Did I just not say it's not going to be your own money? It's not going to be your own credit. You're going to need money. You're going to need credit, but it's not going to be yours. We're going to show you how to get joint venture partners. And no, it's not going to be your crazy uncle that's going to invest with you. If I could give you one piece of advice before this video ends, you will find money more quickly from other people that you've never met before than your family members, because most of your family members are going to go negative. You ever notice the most negative people in your life seem to have the same last name as you? Think about that for just a moment. Those are the people who are going to knock you down many times. What I want to do is I want to show you guys at a much higher level how to do lease options. So what we're going to do is we're going to do, like I said, about 15-minute sections of this, 15-minute sections. And what I want to do as we go through here is I'm going to ask you guys to do me a favor. I know some of you guys know a lot about lease options, but what I also know is a lot of times you got to teach your clients, your tenant buyers, we're going to talk about them on the next video. You got to teach your investors what it's all about. So let me help you do some of the heavy lifting right now. Share this video with other people that you've got to explain this to. Let another voice be the person that's going to help you teach them how to do it. Because what I've found out through time is I can say something to somebody, and I can use a guy like Alfonso. I think I know he's on here. Alfonso's a student of mine from years ago. But if he could say, hey, I've been doing this for 8 years, but one of my mentors has been doing this for 18 years, his credibility goes up exponentially. So use this information. Say, hey, you know what? I got a guy, very good friend of mine. He's a teacher. He's a trainer. He's been doing this a long time. He's doing this Facebook Live series. I'm going to share some videos with you. They're in very short sections, so you can break them down 10, 15 minutes at a time. And we will go through lease options step by step by step. I'm going to say this again. I'm going to ask you guys to do me a favor. Multiple things right now. Share this with people. Please do that. It's going to be on my YouTube channel too. So please watch it on YouTube. If somebody doesn't do Facebook, tell them it's going to be on YouTube. Also, what I'm going to ask you guys to do is realize I'm not going to schedule time frames. I'm just going to put it on there. And whenever you watch them, you watch them. There will be lease option 1. Guess what? Next one's going to be lease option 2. The goal is to have that one out tomorrow. And so you'll see it on my visualizer. It'll say video 1, video 2, right on down the line. I'll put a title with each one. But as I said, please share these with other people. I would greatly appreciate that. Last thing I want to do before I get off of this video is pay close attention, because on Wednesday evening, so that's going to be 2 days from now, December, I believe that's 9th. Some of you guys know a friend of mine by the name of Sam Musa. If you think my energy level is high, Sam's going to blow me out of the water, and that's okay. Because what are you taught to do? You should surround yourself with people who are better than you. Surround yourself with people who are going to pull you up, not beat you down. Sam and I are going to start the first series, or the first of what's called the Wealth Debate. It's going to be a series every Wednesday night. I'm sure there'll be some Wednesdays that we miss, but every Wednesday night we're going to do the Wealth Debate. 30 minutes. This weekend it's going to be at 9 o'clock Eastern. I had to change the time for other commitments, but it's going to be 9 o'clock Eastern. It's going to be live, so we'll be taking some questions. If you watch it after the fact, you want to send in questions to us, we'll answer those questions. We want to get some debate going on about money, strategies, stocks versus real estate versus gold or Bitcoin, and things like that. Both of us have been doing this a long time, so we want to get on, and we like to talk. We like to discuss. He likes to cuss and discuss. I just discuss. And so it's going to be fun. It's going to be kind of like the wild, wild west out there, but we're going to have a good time. I told everybody this would be anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes. I'm coming in at 18 and a half minutes right now. So please, there's going to be videos I'm going to try to do about every day. I'm going to say 20 videos between now and the first week of January. It may be a few more than that, but we got some holidays coming up, all that good stuff as well. So please share this with other people. Please like it if you like it. Please make comments, whatever you want to do. I'm excited. This is going to be fun because now I'm kind of getting back into my comfort zone, which is lease option and real estate. We did a lot of stuff with sales over the last few months. We'll come back to that. Got a lot of people in our mastermind with sales, having a great time with that, helping people all the way from around the world. I was on a call this morning with a young man from New Zealand, and we're showing him how to take his business to a whole nother level. So that's a lot of fun. We're going to do a lot of new things here. All this is going to be based on lease option. So for the next 20 or 30 times you're going to see me, it's going to be lease option, with the exception of Wednesday nights, which is going to be me and Sam doing the wealth debate. So as I say every time that I'm on Facebook Live, turn to somebody you know, somebody you don't know. Make sure you tell them they're going to be all right, because we're all going to be all right. You guys have a great day. We'll see you next time.